Blunt Talk with LT, episode 114. This episode's brought to you by stackwap.com. Stackwap.com/shop. Use promo code Blunt Talk, capital B, capital T, no space, for 10% off everything in the SGE store. This episode's also brought to you by Ball Talk Daily. Ball Talk Daily is a sports podcast mostly focused around basketball and football, hosted by myself. You can download that in the Apple Podcast, the store, and Google Podcast, Spotify, all that. Ball Talk Daily, season 2 coming back around the corner. Although the ball season's pretty much done, it's in the finals. Lakers in 5, by the way. We get daily breakdowns in sports. No commercials, no bullshit, none of the fuck shit that we speak about on Blunt Talk with LT. Strictly sports talk. All right, so let's get into it. First thing, Tory Lanez recently, last Friday, he dropped an album in response to the whole Megan Thee Stallion shooting situation. He didn't make IG live response. He didn't do an interview. He has no public speaking engagements about the shooting incident. He just dropped the album. And I listened to the entire album. I listened to him plead his case throughout the entire album. And for me, throughout the album being released, throughout the weekend, throughout the preceding days, we've seen emails drop, fraudulent emails from his camp, from Tory's camp, fraudulent text messages from Meg's camp. And when I mean camp, I really mean like the record label, like Rock Nation is Meg's camp. And certain people, not a gang, people speaking for Tory Lanez, a bunch of fake ass accounts also speaking for Tory Lanez, creating false stories. There's a bunch of bullshit clouding the entire situation, a bunch of fake facts, a bunch of fake emails, a bunch of fake text messages, a bunch of fake accounts of the story. It's like there's a lot of bullshit and not a lot of real facts surrounding the situation. There's a lot of he said, she said. We waited for Tory to tell his story now. Tory finally spoke up, told his side of the story. Although it was, in raps, so it's like you're disseminating your message through bars, and people are listening to your emotion and your feelings through the records. That's why when the record came out, a lot of people on my social media instantly said, "Oh, Tory didn't do it. Tory didn't do it. Tory didn't do it." As soon as the records felt, well, they're probably feeling the music and then fucking with the music. If you don't get that bullshit, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Going into this situation, I was clearly biased. Well, it wasn't clear, but in my mind, I was biased for Tory Lanez because I'm a Tory Lanez fan. I listen to a lot of Tory Lanez music. Not really a big Megan Thee Stallion fan. I'm going to keep it a bean. I don't really listen to her music like that. So I had all the biased reason in the world to believe that Tory didn't do it because I'm like, I don't want him to do it. I didn't want it to be true. And initially, the surrounding facts came out where it was like, Meg didn't say anything about the situation. Tory didn't say anything about the situation. And the world was left to believe whatever they wanted to believe. There was all sorts of fraudulent stories going on. I did not believe from the stories that I heard that Tory could have possibly did it. It made no sense. Then Meg came and made her statement, very emotional statement on IG Live, saying that she was defending him and X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. And then she said that he did it. And then everyone's like, oh, shit, he did it. In my mind, I'm like, yo, if he actually did it, because I'm not going to gaslight her and say that she's lying, but if he actually did it, he's a bitch-ass nigga that I had to cancel. I said that in past clips, and there's past videos and clips of me saying stuff like this. And I'm like, yo, if you didn't do it, why would you stay quiet? Why would you not deny it? I know people are like, oh, yeah, any type of court proceedings, any type of criminal charges you have, it's not in your best interest to speak publicly about it, even if it is a denial. In which Tory said in the album that his lawyers and his people were saying to be quiet about it will do nothing good for the case. And after listening to both of them speak their sides, Meg saying that he did it, him saying that he didn't, by saying, yo, I didn't do what they're saying I did. In the music he's saying that if she got shot, how come none of the bones or ligaments or anything was affected? And there's just a whole bunch of shit. And from what I gather, no one's being straight, no one's being forward, no one's telling the story, no one's chronicalizing the story in chronological order. No one's saying this is what led up to this and this is what happened. The stories are both fuzzy and hazy from both sides. There's no clear recollection of what actually happened. Tory said he didn't do it, but he didn't say how she got shot and who did it. She saying that he did it and he was shot in the foot, but there was nothing leading up to there's no information leading up to the proceedings. No accountability on her part for the arguments that were said to have happened. None of the, because there's this looming story that's really kind of seeming like it is partially true, and about her having feelings about him being having a crush on Kylie Jenner, and him speaking about that in the music. And that story has been heard way before any of them came out and said who shot who. So there's a lot of, it seems like a lot of the public believe there was some sort of true conflict of him, Kylie, and Tory, Kylie, and Meg in the situation. There was some sort of jealousy and some sort of situation with that. The only thing that we can say for fact actually happened was she was indeed shot. The medical reports came out, and when people look at the pictures, like, well, it doesn't look like a gunshot wound. When I looked at that pictures and I brought it up on my podcast, I'm like, it does look like the aftermath of a gunshot wound, as in like the fragments, bullet fragments. I didn't see the actual bullet hole that would have went and carried the actual bullet through her foot, because I didn't see that in the pictures. I'm gonna be honest, but it did look like bullet fragments were, in her foot, the way it was shattered open, and the way how they were stitching it up. Because I've seen shit like that happen from people that got hit with the buck, like, the shit from a shotgun, but not actually hit with the shells. Yeah, I've seen shit like that before. That's basically what I was trying to say in that last video. Even if it wasn't a direct bullet hole in her foot. The medical records confirm that. I don't even, what happened to, doctor-patient confidentiality, but whatever. The medical records have been, the hospital confirmed that she was indeed shot in her foot. Tory Lanez was indeed arrested for firearm possession. Those are the only two facts in the case. He was not charged with discharge. He was not charged for aggravated assault. He was not charged for shooting her. He was not charged for anything pertaining to shooting her. But she was shot, and he was charged for the gun. So as far as the case goes, as far as canceling Tory, because this is the problem. A lot of people are now trying to cancel Meg because they believe Tory. And it's just like anybody that was a charge or accused for rape. It goes into that type of accusation for me, for most people, what people think. If the girl, in fact, lied about the guy raping her, then we're looking at the girl sideways, like, get the fuck out of here, we're canceling you. But if the guy indeed raped her, it's like, nigga, get the fuck out of here, you're canceled. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at it when it comes to Tory. If he shot her, it's like most people are going to cancel him and be like, get the fuck out of here, you bitch ass nigga. If she lied about being shot by him and not really fully remembering it, because pretty much we both know that they were both drunk. I mean, we all know that they were both drunk, Tory and Meg. Everybody was like drunk in the situation except the driver. So it's like, if their memories are a little hazy and that's why there's no real account of the story from each side, it's because they were indeed drunk. So people would cancel Meg if she was capping, if she's lying, if she's just saying that he got shot, because you're trying to cancel someone's career and ruin their life by making the public believe that, they're a domestic abuser, they're a shooter of women, they're just a piece of crap, all this type of shit. So it's like, both of them will get canceled if you believe the opposing story from both sides. People will try to cancel Meg, people will try to cancel Tory. I'm not a huge proponent of cancel culture. I don't really like canceling people. I don't like the whole culture behind canceling. I can't bring myself to fucking with certain people that did such egregious acts, though. Like 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine's a snitch. I will never fuck with 6ix9ine or listen to 6ix9ine's music or support him. I just don't. It's not in my moral compass to support someone that has zero integrity, and that's such a fraud and a snitch. So I won't do that. That's not me canceling them. That's not me advocating for people to cancel them. That's a personal decision that I make. At this moment, I can't cancel Meg, nor can I cancel Tory, because I don't believe shit. At this point, I'm not going to say she's a liar. She's clearly got shot. I don't know if she fully recalls the recollection, or she's leaving certain things out because she doesn't want to be held accountable or viewed as, she deserves anything. I'm not getting into that. And Tory, I'm not, like, for me, it's like, I listen to Tory's music. I'm a fan of Tory. I can't cancel him and be like, this is egregious acts that I can't support, because I don't know, in fact, if he shot her or not. That's where I'm at with this point. I'm back to square one. I'm back to the beginning. I don't know what to believe. There hasn't been enough facts brought in. There's a lot of perspective and a lot of story. This is my side. This is your side. So I'm at the point where I'm like, fuck it. Fuck popular opinion. Fuck people saying, oh, protect black women, all this bullshit that goes on Twitter. Of course, we believe protect black women. But a lot of these bitter feminist weirdos are going in and trying to divide the black people in general when we're supposed to be focusing on justice for Breonna Taylor and other black people shot with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. We need to be focused on that instead of being divisive, whatever which way you want to pronounce it, over celebrities that people aren't really going to cancel anyway because their followings haven't dropped a bit. Tory Lanez is scheduled to do having the number one album coming out because, you know, all the controversy, everyone's listening to the album to pretty much get the story. So it's like, that's where I'm at with it. No one's getting canceled. I'm still going to fuck with both of them. It is what it is until I get some more information and I could be, completely sure of what actually happened. And that's just what it is. I'm not going to go and do the work for the cops. You know, a lot of people are trying to crack the code of what actually happened and out what happened on social media. I'll wait for somebody else to do that, or I'll wait for the cops to detail what happened. If he's ever charged, we'll see what happened if he actually shot her. But for the most part, that's it for me. I'm out on this one. I'm completely out on this one. I'm not making a call. I'm not giving a take. It is what it is. I don't know. And sometimes it's not that difficult to say you don't know and just keep it pushing without actually canceling somebody. Most times people want to have a take or make a side, and it is what it is. If you don't know, you don't know. All right, so that was a pretty long rant. Let me get into some other topics because I'm sure people are here for more topics than just that one topic that's been going on for like a week now. So let's get into this. Okay, so there's reports from numerous verified accounts and, you know, why am I drawing a blank? Just reputable sources are claiming this is a real story. So a contract has been signed and the fight is happening between Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. And I'm like, yo, these ridiculous clout fights, that's what I call them, clout fights, where there's two people that have no business fighting each other, but since they're both famous and it'll draw a lot of eyes, they're going to fight anyway. This fight is ridiculous. You have one of the best boxers of all time, 50-0, Floyd Mayweather, fighting Logan Paul, YouTube sensation. It's like Logan Paul is like 200 pounds plus, possibly. Floyd Mayweather's $150, soaking wet. I'm like, so how is this fight going to happen? Who's going to sanction this fight? This fight is just a complete money grab, obviously. But it's like, how is this fight going to happen? I'm not going to put any real hope into watching this fight or hoping that it'll actually happen because I just don't believe anyone's going to sanction a fight with people that are 50 pounds away in weight. Like, how you got to come down to a relatively close weight. And I don't see Floyd Mayweather packing on 25 pounds or Logan Paul dropping 25 pounds for that fight to happen. And I'm meeting in the middle, fighting at 175 or some bullshit like that. Like, I don't see that happening. I don't see this fight taking place. Good promo, good way to keep your name in headlines, Floyd. But for the most part, I see this as cap. I don't see this shit happening. What else do we have here on the fuck shit list? Bullshit before I get into another serious rant. Okay, so let's get a video reaction into this. Sorry, my audio listeners. My apologies all the time. Every time I play a video. This one's a short one, though. We have this. You know, I'm playing a video and react.
He had shit tripping. Get your dumb ass down, son. Oh! Oh, you gotta whip his ass now.
Okay, so they said he's high, he's tripping, get your dumb ass down, blah, blah, blah. This nigga proceeds to jump off the bus with full force on top of that car. RIP that car. I don't know whose car that is. L's. I don't know how you're gonna claim that for insurance, but that nigga was high as hell. I don't know what that nigga was doing. I don't know where. This video's been trending and there's no details on this. I've seen this in a number of compilations, people just laughing at this video. What the fuck was going on? What was this nigga thinking? They said he was high off of what? This is blunt talk. Niggas is usually heavily weeded on this show. High off what? I'm running a goddamn show high. What do you mean high? High off of what? Not Kush. Clearly there's something else. Clearly the nigga was on some Xans. He was on some coke, some crack, some assorted drug. I don't fucking know. This nigga was on some meth jumping out. Like, what kind of foolishness is that? Goddamn. Okay, so we have anti-mask protesters in the store in Target. I'm pretty sure people seen this video by now floating around. This is utterly ridiculous. Let's watch this shit.
Take your mask off! Yeah, take it off! Fucking idiot. You're not doing it! Take off your mask! Take it off! Take it off!
Okay, so when people say there's government conspiracy behind the high numbers because the second wave is hitting, the numbers of the COVID numbers are ridiculously high out of nowhere after having a relatively pedestrian summer when it comes to the numbers. If it isn't a conspiracy and they're not fudging the numbers, you gotta blame idiots like this. Walking through confined, closed environments with masks off, everyone breathing in each other's face, no social distancing. Fuck shit like this. If you don't believe the numbers, relate to videos like this, because everyone's like, oh, the summer, there was all sorts of parties, everyone was in each other's face, all sorts of gatherings, the numbers were low as shit. Fall hits. All of a sudden, the numbers are back up. People aren't doing the same type of engagements and parties, and people aren't together like that. Everyone's wearing masks. How are these numbers going up? I don't know. It's not that I'm against the conspiracy fully, because I'm looking at this like, yo, this shit's weird. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, you got fuckers like this doing shit like this. Maybe that's the reason. Who knows? What else do we got here? Okay, so a Christian group raises over $500,000 for Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse. If anybody doesn't know who Kyle Rittenhouse is this guy from this video. Okay, that was possibly the wrong video. That was Kyle Rittenhouse walking armed with his assault rifle, waving down to the police telling him to move in a different direction. No one apprehended him at that scene. That was after he shot and killed somebody. Shot, two people, killed one. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I'm making up facts right now. I don't know how many people shot. What is this? What is the facts? Let me get the facts right. Yeah, he killed a person. Let me pull this up. Blah, blah, blah. Shot a man in the head, not in self-defense. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so he shot 3 folks, shot 1 person in the head. That's who Kyle Rittenhouse is. There's a video of him shooting. I'm not going to play the video of him shooting somebody. That's probably going to take down the whole upload. But everybody knows who this guy is by now. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 people, tried to help one of the people he shot act like he never shot him. Waved down the police, was never arrested for his actions. At the scene, he was arrested leaving the state or driving a day later. They raised $500,000 from a Christian group, someone that killed a black protester in cold blood, shot other people.
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face,
the amount of positive media spin that this guy gets. If this had been a black person, they would be claiming he was a thug, a criminal, blah blah blah. If this is a brown person, they would have been like he's a terrorist, he's X, Y, and Z. But a lot of the media is focusing on the good acts in his life, and Christian groups are raising $500,000 to keep this guy out of jail. All sorts of fuck shit when it comes to this shit. I don't even know how to react to this. It's like, clearly this man is a local terrorist, and what he did was an act of terrorism and a criminal act, and he's trying to kill motherfuckers. So this nigga should be in jail, but it is what it is. That's the American system. That's the American people. The white people, the Christian white people. So, lending money to this guy, giving him 500 racks. Ridiculous, actually, but it is what it is. It's not like this is unexpected. This is 2020, and it's not. I'm not going to blame it on 2020 for people's racism and support of racist people, but you shouldn't be surprised by these type of acts by now, is what I'm saying. It is what it is. So recently, Godfrey, along with Lord Jamar, Mysonne, and a couple of other individuals have claimed that they're boycotting Vlad TV, and they're no longer supporting Vlad TV over his comments and misquotes of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let's play the video of Farrakhan's initial comments. Then we're gonna listen to Vlad misquoting him, and then I'm going to dive into the details of why Lord Jamar and Godfrey are no longer supporting Vlad. So let's get to that video real quick.
walking in full sight, deceiving whoever they can deceive. That's Satan. Those of you that say that you are Jews, I will not even give you the honor of calling you a Jew. You're not a Jew. You're so-called. You're Satan. And it's my job now to pull the cover off of Satan so that every Muslim, when he sees Satan, pick up a stone, as we do in Mecca. Did you hear me, Brother Abdul Malik? When you know who Satan is, you don't have to kill him, no. The stone of truth. See, that's what you throw. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop.
You know, this kind of whole, I personally feel this is coming off the heels of Farrakhan's 4th of July speech.
Sure.
Where he said, those of you that say you're Jews, I will not give you the honor of calling you a Jew. You're not a Jew. You're so-called. You're Satan. And it's my job now to pull the cover off of Satan. And he went on to say, like, every Muslim, when they see a fake Jew, grab a rock. And this is kind of what I feel is the energy. And a lot of people look up to Farrakhan. I mean, I've interviewed NOI members multiple times.
Right.
I've used FOI for security. Overall, I think the NOI is a group that helped out a lot of people.
Right.
Hearing statements like that bothers me.
Okay, so that was pretty much the quote that Lord Jamar, Godfrey, and Mysonne have a problem with. Mysonne has been friends with Vlad for years. We always hear Vlad speak about his friendship with Mysonne. We see the close friendship that he has worked up to with Lord Jamar and Godfrey. They even chilled outside of their actual interview stuff. Like, they hang out together. So they're that type of cool. It's not just an associate. Like, they're almost like borderline friends. I look at something like that. See, I did Farrakhan a disservice just now, because at the beginning of the speech, he referenced a specific individual who he was calling the fake Jew. This was a reference to an attack on a specific person, and then he kind of like said anybody that's trying to act like that type of fakeness is a fake Jew or whatever. He said cast the stone of truth. He never said throw rocks at fake Jews. He said cast the stone of truth, meaning expose that they're not real Jews and they're not real. Like, what Vlad tried to do is make him come across anti-Semitic, and they've already labeled Louis Farrakhan anti-Semitic person, and the media is always trying to bash him and try to say he practices anti-Semitism, and they put that negative connotation over his name and over his quotes many times before in the media. So it was very irresponsible of what Vlad did. Now, Mysonne, Lord Jamar, and Godfrey look at Farrakhan as a black leader, a black voice, especially through these type of times of racism in America. They just simply wanted Vlad to retract his statement and apologize to the minister. Vlad himself said that he did not want to apologize to Louis Farrakhan unless he had him in an interview and they spoke about their problems. And I'm like, okay, that's a little arrogant. Doesn't want to apologize unless he has him sitting in front. Like, he has to sit down with Vlad and have a conversation. Like, he's not obligated to do that. You don't get paid for Vlad TV interviews. Vlad profits off of it. So you wanted to do it where you could monetize your engagement with them, which I was like, okay, that's weird. But they're not having it. Lord Jamar, Godfrey, Mysonne, they're not okay with Vlad trying to re-edit the clip and not have any type of retraction, not try to apologize. They're not with it at all. So they're okay throwing away their whole platform on Vlad because they do a lot of interviews on Vlad. Yes, they have their own platform. Lord Jamar has his own podcast, the You Know What I Mean podcast with Godfrey and Rod Digga. Godfrey has his own podcast, In Godfrey We Trust, with Asian Andre. So they both have their own platforms. They're now focusing the conversations and bringing the talks back to their own platforms. So shout out to them for building their own platforms. But their reach is not what it is on Vlad. So they're basically foregoing that reach that they have, that exposure, and just saying fuck it because they're standing in solidarity with Louis Farrakhan. And they were also mad at Vlad. Their main point of contention with Vlad was that Vlad said that he was not apologizing because it's not going to affect his bottom line. So you have black folks of bottom line constantly affected for the things that they say and being held accountable, i.e. Nick Cannon, who was held accountable for his alleged anti-Semitic comments, and he was removed from his position at Viacom, canceling Wild 'N Out. And he actually apologized. He refused to apologize initially, or he didn't want to apologize initially. He ended up apologizing, still lost his position. So Vlad's point was, I'm a boss, I run shit, I'm eating off the black hip-hop culture, fuck you niggas, you guys can't affect my bottom line, so I'm going to continue doing what I do, and I'm not apologizing. That's their interpretation of Vlad's point that he's making by not apologizing. And the way I look at it, and it's Vlad's not apologizing. Vlad said that he's doing numbers without Godfrey, without Lord Jamar, without their interviews, so he doesn't really need them. And I'm like, that's asshole-ish, but that's Vlad. That's what he's doing. You can call it what you want to call it. Godfrey accidentally outed Vlad when he was speaking about Vlad's family structure, because Vlad is married to a black woman. He has a black wife. He has black children, half black because Vlad's white. So he has mixed race children. He has a black wife. So Godfrey accidentally outed that when he was speaking about Vlad's family structure and his disposition when it comes to racist acts or whatever. Not really trying to out Vlad, but just trying to say that he doesn't believe that Vlad is a racist. Vlad is just pretty much in an arrogant mode when it comes to not apologizing. And Vlad's taking this Jewish shit seriously. But Lord Jamar has, takes that, he says that Vlad is not like a typical Jew. He's a Russian immigrant. And he's like Jew by, I don't know what he's a Jew by, religion or back. I don't know, but he's saying that Vlad is not religious. He's seen him eat pork. He's not a real Jew. I don't know. I'm not going to get into Vlad being a real Jew or not. It's just his point of misrepresenting and misquoting Farrakhan with this negative anti-Semitic cloak. So I'm like, okay, I understand why they're saying fuck Vlad and they're boycotting Vlad. I understand the movement 100%. I don't believe that Vlad's going to ride this one out. I think at some point he's going to cop a plea and apologize because he was wrong, and that is the right thing he should do, really and truly. You misquote someone, try to run a negative press on them, that's not good, especially one of the big renowned leaders that Minister Farrakhan is. It's like, I don't know why you would do that, but he has his gripes against Farrakhan. In my opinion, I feel like Vlad's wrong. He should retract his statement. And he should apologize, and they should move forward. I do not wrong Lord Jamar and Godfrey, Mysonne, especially Mysonne, who's a close friend of him, and they spoke in depth about the situation. I don't wrong them for their position on Vlad. At the end of the day, he is eating off the black culture, and the black culture is not being respected the way it should be. So I completely understand their gripes and their opinions with Vlad. And I will continue to support their shows. Not like I wasn't in the first place. I was always listening to Godcast and listening to In Godfrey We Trust. So I'm going to continue supporting their shows. Black people need to continue supporting black. So it is what it is. Hopefully Vlad actually does apologize, because I was a watcher, listener of their Vlad TV interviews at least, and a bunch of other ones. So it is what it is. Let's move on. What else do we got here before I wrap this shit up? Okay, so let me just leave this episode with some uplifting speak to the upcoming generation, the younger people, the people in the younger 20s trying to build a platform, trying to build a future for themselves. I'm just going to play this Gary V clip, and then we're going to end the episode. We're going to get out of here, but let's leave it with some positivity. So let's hear Gary V's video speaking uplifting, inspirational speech to the younger youth. Here we go.
If you are 22 years old, you are entering, first of all, some of the greatest years of your life, because you have to understand, this next 5-year window is when you don't go practical and safe. This is not the time to get the job mom wanted you to. This is not the time to try to maximize as much money so you can buy a fat whip. This is when you can grind at your highest levels, because there isn't all the fucking baggage that comes across your life. You may have college loans, respect, it's hard as shit. You may have the expectations of your parents, mentally hard, fake hard. You may have a lot of other things, but this is the time to be massively risk oriented. What you should do is go and travel and learn. Go and start that business that you've always wanted. Hook up with those 3 teammates and start that band you've always wanted. I know that there are so many of you that have no fucking idea of what you're gonna do with your future. Nobody's ever been luckier than you. Please recognize it.
And with that, there you have it. We off in it. Year.